All right, everybody, welcome back to part 9 of my 2026 VHS collection overview series that I'm going to be continuing on with today. I am not dead. Usually on the weekends, I have things to do, typically, like everybody else, so I don't typically do any filming on the weekends. And then Monday I had a job interview, so it went pretty well. Fingers crossed, though, we'll see. And then yesterday I got caught up doing some stuff. So today is Wednesday, so I'm back at it today, Wednesday, part 9. So we're going to start back here. So just make a circle, basically. We're going to start with this shelf, which is mostly Ninja Turtles VHS, mostly. The bottom shelf has some movies and stuff. Actually, I think the bottom shelf is mostly movies. So, yeah, we'll get into some Ninja Turtles for a bit, and then we'll do some movies. But before we do that, I did pull my autographed VHS out of the other room where the DVDs, Blu-rays, and the Laserdiscs are, because I was forgetting about them. And I just was sitting there thinking today, I'm like, oh, I should probably show the autograph tapes off, because before I completely forget about those. So we'll start with these, and we'll go from there. And then we'll just, like I said, we'll kind of just make a circle. We started here with the clamshells and the box sets. We'll knock out this back shelf. We'll come up here, and then we'll finish everything that's down here, and then we'll go up to the top, do that, and then we'll go into the other room. So first up, I actually got this at my favorite local antique mall. Got this many years ago, and then the very first horror convention I ever went to, Horror Find 2011, which is where I got the first 2 tapes autographed. I got this autographed by Ken Foray, and it is the old Dawn of the Dead collector's edition VHS. There's Ken's autograph there. Love Ken Foray, great guy. He is absolutely hilarious. If you have never met him, he is just a bundle of joy to be around. I love that guy. And of course, I know most people know him from Dawn of the Dead, but I know him, of course, from Dawn of the Dead. But the first place I saw him was Kenan and Kel. Of course, he was Kenan's dad on that show many, many moons ago. I gotta pull those out and watch those, because I have not watched that show in forever. But yeah, I remember, I believe it was during the summer. I think I was off school and popped in there. Like I was just there, I think last month I was there. I need to start going in there more often, because it's been quite a while since I've regularly gone in there. I remember just finding this and being very excited about it here. And of course, we've got good old Anchor Bay logo and Elite Entertainment, which is cool, because I believe before Anchor Bay had the rights, Elite had the rights to it. And like the Nightmare on Elm Street tape, it does open up. You get some great couple behind the scenes photos and some makeup shots in there, which is very cool. So you do get the movie on tape 1, which is the director's cut, and it has the different soundtrack. And then tape 2 is just a bunch of theatrical trailers, which is very cool. But I have not watched this VHS in forever. I think I've only ever watched it one time when I first got it. So definitely want to pop that in sometime here and watch it. And then also at Horror Find 2011, I got this autographed, which I believe, I got this at the same antique mall. This was $5 now. Good luck trying to get They Live on VHS now, but I did get this autographed by the Rowdy one himself, of course, Mr. Roddy Piper, who I miss very much. Always enjoyed his work in the ring and in the movies as well. And funny story about this VHS is he was very impressed that I actually still had this movie on VHS in 2011, which was very cool. And the reason I actually had brought this for him to sign, and then he was the most expensive guest. He was charging $25 for an autograph. I think everybody else charged $20 for an autograph, but Roddy charged $25, and I didn't have a $5 bill on me, but I had a 10. So I was like, well, fuck it. I'll just get, I brought this for him to sign, and then I'll just get a picture from Roddy. So I did get a picture from the movie where he's shooting the shotgun, I think, inside of the bank. So, and I'm glad that I did that because, of course, unfortunately, Roddy is gone now. But I was like, fuck it, man. And he did sign it. This was personalized. The Dawn of the Dead is not personalized. Ken Foray just signed it. But it says, to Fabio, all out of bubblegum. He wrote that in black. And then he wrote his name in silver, which was very cool that he did that. And he's like, you know what? I'm gonna do this different. He goes, I'm gonna sign in black and then silver. I said, hey, you're Roddy Piper. I'm not gonna tell you no. But definitely one of my favorite celebrities that I ever met. And he was great, and I miss him a lot. I do miss Roddy Piper quite a bit. So there you go. You will see this. I don't know if we're going to get to it in this part, but you will see another copy of this when we get to the Power Rangers VHS. But I do have the original Day of the Dumpster autographed by Austin St. John. I don't believe he personalized autographs. Some people do, some people do not. But I don't think he does. But I did, I think when I met him at the time, it was called the Great Allentown Comic Con. It is now the Great Philadelphia Comic Con, which I've never gone to the Philly one. I only went to the Allentown one. But I think I found this, either at a thrift store, or I had bought other Power Ranger tapes, and this was in there, and I just kept it because I figured if I'm going to meet him one day, I can get him to autograph it. So, and he thought it was cool. He said, oh, yeah, that's old school. But he just put Austin St. John, and then he wrote Jason underneath, which is funny because Jason is actually his real name. Austin St. John is a stage name. But, yeah, here is the original 1993 VHS when they did the original 5. Of course, they're numbered and they're all color coordinated because, of course, it's Power Rangers. It has to be color coordinated. But we'll get into Power Rangers a little bit later. This is for the first episode, Day of the Dumpster. So we'll get a little more in depth with that later on. And then the last autographed VHS that I have, I should have put this with the wrestling tapes, but I forgot about it. But I guess it really doesn't matter. I do have ECW, Anarchy Rules 1999 pay-per-view. Tape 1 is autographed by Tommy Dreamer. Now, these are the ones that you would be able to buy at the ECW shows back in the day. They would, again, sell VHS tapes of their Hardcore TV, I think TNN, the TNN shows later on, a lot of their house shows and supercards, and then eventually when they got on pay-per-view, they used to sell, their versions of the pay-per-view events on VHS. And I got these off of RF Video back in the day because they had found a bunch of these, and Tommy signed a bunch of them, and they were selling them. And I think most of them were the ones that were pretty easy to get a hold of. This one I grabbed because I never knew that they had gone up to 1999, releasing the pay-per-views themselves. So I did get this one. For whatever reason, they split it to 2 tapes. And again, only tape 1 is autographed by Tommy. So, but very happy to have these, which is very cool. And again, I have not watched this in forever. Same with They Live and Dawn of the Dead. So I might have to pop a couple of these in and see if they still work. Alright, so that's, again, just the handful of autographed VHS that I have. Now let's go ahead and get into everybody's favorite green superheroes, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I have everything that was released here in the U.S. I have the live-action films. I have all of the 1987 and 2003 cartoons. I have the one Next Mutation tape, which we went over earlier because that was a clamshell. I have some odds and ends type of stuff, and I got everything Ninja Turtles related releases, if I could talk, that came out here in America. So I'll start with the movies. So of course I have the trilogy, because these are the only ones. Okay, these are the only live action movies that matter to me. I do like the 2007 CGI film, but that did not come out on VHS in America. I think it came out in Korea, because in South Korea they did VHS for quite a while, actually. I think it came out over there, but I don't have that one. So we have the original. I really love Family Home Entertainment. I had a lot of Family Home Entertainment titles when I was a kid, but I always loved their label. And yeah, they actually put out the first Ninja Turtles movie. I guess they had a deal with New Line to do that, but that's the only one that they put out. So got the original Family Home Entertainment release here. This is the classic. This is the one that everybody had growing up, myself included. But mine did not have the slipcover. It was just the tape, because I think I got it from a friend. He was a couple years older than me, and I think he was getting out of Ninja Turtles at the time, and he gave me a bunch of his tapes. I don't think I have any of those left over anymore, but I did remember getting the first movie from him, but again, it did not have the slipcover. But of course, this has the classic Pizza Hut commercial in the beginning with Goldberg from the Mighty Ducks, before he was in the Mighty Ducks. But yeah, like I said, this is definitely one that everybody had growing up back in the day, which was cool. And I still love the label here has the Turtles on it. Of course, from the animated series, because they released the animated tapes as well. But yeah, this is an essential. Again, if you are even remotely a VHS, even if you're just a casual VHS collector, I just want my favorite movies, on VHS, chances are you have this one, or you're looking for this one. So you can't go wrong with the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on VHS. New Line actually did, when the movies first came out on DVD, they also re-released the original Ninja Turtles film on VHS. That was the only one. Never had that release, never had any desire to get that release, so I'm sticking with the original. So there you go. And then we have Secret of the Ooze, which again, unfortunately, these are not my original copies from when I was a kid, because like the Power Rangers VHS that I had for the most part, they magically disappeared one day. So there's that. But always love this artwork, and I actually have a poster of this in my bedroom, because when this came out on VHS, they were doing a tie-in with Burger King, and I think if you bought a kid's meal or something, you got a free poster. So I actually have that poster up in my bedroom, because this was not, of course, the theatrical poster. It's the one where they're looking over the canister, and the shadows of Tokka and Razor are behind them. And also, this month, they are re-releasing this in the theaters, so make sure you guys go check that out. I'm going to go check that out. I think it comes out next week. I think it's going to be out for a week, which is cool. But the original, when they re-released the original film last summer, it actually did very, very well, to where they extended the run. And then Secret of the Ooze is coming out next week, so you guys are going to go check that out. I'm definitely going to go check that out, so there you go. But you can't go wrong. Classic release here. Got the trailers for Suburban Commando, Hulk Hogan's best movie as far as I'm concerned. And at the time it was called Step Kids. When it eventually came out, it was called Big Girls Don't Cry, They Get Even. Those are the trailers on here. So there you go. And then of course we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, which again, I think also, I don't think mine had the box slipcover, whatever you want to call it. I think 1 and 2 or 1 and 3 didn't. For whatever reason, Secret of the Ooze survived, at least the box. But there you go. And, I've always liked this movie. Is it as good as the first two? No, of course not. And the big reason for that is because the suits suck. So I will say that. That is still the biggest problem I've always had with this movie, is that the suits are garbage. Because they did not want to, New Line did not want to pay Golden Harvest, whoever it was. They did not want to pay the Jim Henson Company what they wanted. But from what I read, from what I understand, is they weren't really asking for much more money. There was the company that ended up doing the suits, which I don't know if the name is on the back here. Yeah, the All Effects Company. They said that they were going to do it for cheaper, which is why they took them over the Henson Company. Like I said, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they were not asking for a ridiculous amount of money. It was just, oh, well, we'll do it cheaper. Okay, and you have to remember also, this was 1993. Turtle Mania was starting to die off. Power Rangers had come out. Or actually, Power Rangers was not out yet, but it was a couple months later. But Turtle Mania was starting to die off, so there you go. But I would much rather watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 on loop all day, every day, than ever have to sit through the fucking Michael Bay produced movies or the TikTok Turtles or anything film-wise that has come out after the CGI movie. So there you go. And then I do have kind of the bonus videos that are related to the movies here. Actually, I lied. We also went over coming out of their shells. I forgot about the only ones I don't have is the Turtles Christmas musical thing, because that is horrible. I don't have Operation Blue Line, where they picked the Ninja Turtles to promote a railroad or something, or a subway or something like that, and we're not talking about the horrible sandwich place. And Getting Down in Your Town tour, I don't have those because they suck. I have the good Ninja Turtle stuff, so I lied to you. You guys know me. I lie about everything, so there's that. But first up, we have the Behind the Shells, the making of the Ninja Turtles, which focuses mostly on the second movie. It does talk about the first film a little bit. Of course, this is on the Arrow Video Blu-ray, but for the longest time, this was only on VHS. And then the German Blu-ray of Ninja Turtles 2, which I still have because the commentary tracks are different. This was included on there as a extra feature, but for the longest time, really the only way you could get it here in America was this. So I don't know if this was ever rare or expensive. I think I might have found this in the wild. I don't think I ordered this off of eBay or anything. I think I got lucky and found it, and it's actually in really nice shape, still really glossy. Can't complain. But now that's easily available. It was on YouTube as well, but it's now on the Blu-rays and such. And then we got two music video VHS tapes here. We have just simply called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Music Videos, which has Spin That Wheel by High Tech 3, which was basically just Technotronic. And then for Turtle Power, for Partners in Crime, which says Raphael is the leader of the group, which is not true, unfortunately. And then they did a video single for Vanilla Ice's Ninja Rap for the second film. So the third movie did not get one because it's funny, the third movie, the soundtrack, the actual, like the CD, they just recycled a bunch of the songs and then they had a couple new ones, but the third movie never got any music video tie-ins. I guess New Line didn't want to pay for it, so there you go. So there's those, which I don't think those have ever come out on... Yeah, they're not on DVD or Blu-ray. I'm sure you can easily find them here on YouTube, but the only physical releases, at least that I know of, are these. So I figured, what the hell, why not? Alright, so that's the movie-related stuff. The rest of it is going to be all the animated series. So first up, of course, we have to start with the original 1987 through 1996 animated series. So why not? So first up, we have Heroes in a Half Shell, which is Volume 1. And this is the first 2 episodes of the original 5-part miniseries. So there you go. And I always Love that classic artwork on here. Again, this was another one that a lot of people had, a lot of kids had back in the day. I do remember going over to friends and relatives and people's houses, and if they had any of the cartoons of the Ninja Turtles on VHS, this typically would be one of the ones that they would have. I would love to get a poster. I think there is some posters out there with that artwork. I'd love to track down one of them. And I think I kind of put these in the proper order here. So then we have Volume 2, which is Hot Rodding Teenagers. So there's that. Another great classic artwork, which they have since reused for, I think, some of the DVD releases. When they re-released them, I think they used some of that art. So there you go. And this has Hot Rodding Teenagers from Dimension X and A Thing About Rats, which is the 3rd and 4th episode of this show. And it's Turtle Tracks is the first episode. For the life of me, I cannot remember the name of the second episode. I'm sorry. I'm sure someone in the comments is going to say, "It's this, dumbass!" Well, there you go. Then we have Volume 3, which is The Shredder is Splintered, which has the last episode of the original 5-part miniseries, which is The Shredder is Splintered, and then it has the first episode of Season 2, Return of the Shredder, and again, classic artwork. Like I said, these were the... chances are, these were the ones that people had the most of, at least when I was a kid. I remember everybody having it. If not all three, at least one of the three. And I think when I was a kid, I actually had all three of these. So there you go. But like I said, unfortunately, none of these are my originals. I've had to repurchase, I think, all of them, the movies included. So there you go. But it's no big deal. And then we have, this is Volume 4. This is Cowabunga Shredhead, which has that episode and then New York Shiniest. So I think from here they kind of get random with the selection. So we actually got the first season of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, again, the original 5-part miniseries. Excuse me, I'm so excited I had to sneeze. That actually got released on VHS twice. I do have the other release of that, which we will get into later. And then also, I think pretty much all these are the original releases. They did re-release them in box sets, which was cool. We already covered the one that I have, which is right here, the Out of the World set. And then they also, some of them I have later because they actually numbered some of them. So yeah, we went 1, 2, 3, 4, and then they released them in kind of weird order. I do these kind of based on catalog number and then also somewhat of an order of how they go. So there's that. And I believe, yeah, this one, okay, so they would go here, 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 I think, yeah. So next up we have volume, I believe this is volume 5, but that's the original 4, which is A Case of the Killer Pizzas, which is actually one of my favorite episodes where the pizza monster looks like a xenomorph from Aliens. I don't know how they got away with that, but they did. I guess because they made it yellow, and they were able to do that in the 80s. But this is another one that I had as a kid. This, again, is not my original. But this is another one that I do remember a lot of people having. And then Enter the Fly is the second episode. And then we have volume 6, Invasion of the Punk Rock Frogs. There we go, another classic. First couple seasons have a lot of great episodes, I will say. Not that the later seasons don't, but the first 4 had a lot of the really good episodes. Season 5 and 6, 5, 6, and 7 were good. There's a bunch of good episodes in there. And then I really like the Dark Sky episodes. So, and of course, I was not born when the show started, but I was alive when the show was still on. And I do remember as a kid watching the Dark Sky episodes when they first came on, because I remember they changed the theme song, and they redid the opening, and it had footage from the movies in there, and they redesigned the turtles, which I thought was cool. But we'll get to those later, because I think the first 7 or 8 seasons actually got home video releases, and then they gave up. So there you go. But the second episode here, actually, I'm sorry, this has only one episode on here. There's a couple of them that only have one. I don't know why they did that, but I will point those out when we get to them. And then we have Volume 7, Super Rocksteady and Mighty Bebop. So there you go. And I believe I'm doing these correctly. We'll check in a moment here. But the Mutagen Monster is the second story. And then we have The Incredible Shrinking Turtles, which is the 4-part saga where they shrink. So there you go. All 4 of those are actually included on here, which is very cool, which I believe that is the only Ninja Turtles VHS where they did that. The rest of them mostly are 2 episodes, and like I said, there is a couple where they're only 1 episode, which again, I will point those out when we get there. And I just want to check these quick and make sure. Yeah, because it does get a little confusing in a minute here, because the catalog numbers are way off, but then they re-release them in a different order here. So we got, so this one will go first. Okay, there we go. So then we have volume 5, 6, 7, 8. Technically this is 9, but this is the 4 Musketurtles, which this is only 1 episode as well. Excuse me. And what's interesting about this one, this was actually re-released as a TV Teddy title. I had that one at one point, but then I got rid of it. But TV Teddy was, they were trying to do this interactive toy where you would put the tape in, and then the bear would talk to you about the tape, and when it was this whole thing. They did a Shining Time Station tape, which we'll get to with that. I don't think it caught on. I don't think it did well. But they, for whatever reason, they did Ninja Turtles with that. So there you go. But that is the original regular release. That's, I had the TV Teddy one at one point, but I don't have a TV Teddy, so there's that. And then we have, again, technically this would be volume 9, right? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm sorry, my bad. Volume 10, Attack of the Big Mac. And we ain't talking about McDonald's. This is another one that I had as a kid on VHS growing up, which is cool. And the second episode is the old switcheroo. And then as you can see, these are labeled Volume 8 and 9, although these are not technically Volume 8 and 9. I believe these were the re-releases where they tried to number them, but I don't think it really worked out. They just picked, I think the first 4 were the correct order, and then they just started picking random volumes. But again, these are the numbered re-releases. So again, the content on the tapes is exactly the same. They just changed the spines. And like I said, these did come out in box sets as well, but they're actually quite expensive now, if you can find them. So this one, again, would be Volume 11, technically. But this is Pizza by the Shred. And Return of the Fly is the second episode on here. And some of these actually also were released on Laserdisc, which we covered in my Laserdisc collection, if you guys want to go check that out, if you have not done so already. And then it says it's 9, but it's actually 10, 11, 12. So this is Turtles at the Earth's Core, which I believe I had this one as a kid as well on VHS, if I'm not mistaken. And Enter the Rat King is the second story there. So there's that. Alright, so I'm going to jump a little bit because I think technically these have... Actually, yeah, these would be first. Okay. So actually they would be before... Yeah, 2739. So those would actually be, these would actually be after the Incredible Shrinking Turtles, because that's technically where the catalog numbers would go, but that's okay, it doesn't matter. So speaking of Burger King, in 1990, I think when the movie came out, when the first movie came out, I believe, They had a tie-in. The Ninja Turtles people, and Burger King had a tie-in, and they released 4 VHS tapes that you could get at the restaurants. I think if you bought a kid's meal, you could get this for like $2 or whatever back in the day. So I had these as a kid growing up, and they again magically disappeared, and now I have them again as an adult. And these have 1 episode apiece because, again, it was a part of that promotion. Like I said, I believe this was when the first movie came out. If I am incorrect on that, I apologize. Again, I'm sure someone will correct me in the comments, but that's okay. So first up, we have Sky Turtles, which I believe these are all season 3 episodes. I think Cowabunga, or the second story on the Shredder and Splintered, Cowabunga Shredhead, Case of the Killer Pizzas, Punk Rock Frogs, Super Rocksteady and Mighty Bebop, and The Incredible Shrinking Turtles. I think that's all season 2 episodes. And then Four Musket Turtles, Attack of the Big Mac, Pizza by the Shred, Turtles at the Earth Core, and these are season 3. So the color scheme is different on each one, obviously, and the picture is different, but the setup, other than that, is pretty much the same. Then we have Invasion of the Turtle Snatchers. Then we have The Great Boldini, which I think... No, it's the next one. I'm sorry. And then we have April Foolish, which is not actually the name of the episode. I think it's called April's Fool. But for whatever reason, they changed it for the VHS release. So, yeah, those are... Again, I do remember a lot of people having those because, like I said, you could get them at Burger King back in the day when, like I said, I think the first movie came out. Just have a little Baja Blast. Oh, there you go. Now that they make it all the time now. So there's that. Alright, so now, actually, let me back up a minute here and get some more out. And I knew that was going to happen. So let me just do it this way. If they want to behave. Yeah, I knew that was going to happen. Alright, let's do this. And we'll do that. Alright, so now, yeah, we'll just do it this way. Yeah. Alright, so I pulled the rest of the 87 cartoon, all those tapes off the shelf. So yeah, actually, let me get my stool here. There we go. So the first 2 shelves is all Ninja Turtles. I think the third shelf is all movies and such. Okay, so I pulled the rest of them all. So from here out, what they did, for the most part, actually, yeah. So from here on out, Family Home Entertainment did them as different series. You know, again, we covered the Out of This World box set. They did 4 tapes in a specific series. So that's what they did, I guess, to market it better or match, to get you to buy all of them, whatever the case was. So the first one, is the Sewer Heroes Volume 1 set. They did do a Volume 2, I believe. Or, no, they did not. I'm sorry, they did not. Yeah. My bad. I thought they did. Okay, so Sewer Heroes. My bad. The Sewer Heroes set here. And I believe we're getting into Season 4 now with these. So we have Leonardo Lightens Up, which also has Leonardo versus Tempestra on there. Then we have Raphael meets his match, where he meets Mona Lisa. So technically she was the first, well, she was a lizard. Sorry, I was going to say technically she was the first girl turtle, but she was more of a lizard. And then Raphael knocks him dead. And other than the character art and the color scheme being different, the packaging is all the same. Because again, everything has to match. Then we have Donatello's Degree, which also has Donatello Makes Time. And then we have Michelangelo Meets Bugman. So there's that. So that is, again, the Sewer Heroes series. And you can find the commercials and such for all these here on YouTube. Then we have the Bad Guys series. So first up we have the Turtles versus the Turtle Terminator. And the second episode is Turtles Everywhere. And again, same thing. They recycled the artwork from the Sewer Hero series for the most part, except again, the front art and the name of the line. But that's it. Everything else is the same. So it actually matches on the shelf quite nicely. And then we have Turtles versus The Fly. And the second episode is Shredderville. And again, pretty much the same thing. Consistency, I know. Then we have Turtles versus Leatherhead. And Leatherhead meets the Rat King. So I think this is the only one where the villain is featured in both of the stories. And then we have Turtles versus Rhino Man and Blast from the Past. Oh, okay, so this one was kind of a sub-label because, as you can see, it says Sewer Heroes 2, the Bad Guys series. So that's probably why they recycled the majority of the artwork. So there's that. All right. Then we have the Hollywood Dudes series. So I would assume that, well, this was 92, so the first two movies were already out. So yeah, I guess they decided to piggyback off of the movies. So there you go. So we have 4 turtles and a baby, and the rear artwork is pretty much the same. And then Shredder's mom is the second episode. I don't think she has a name. I think she's just Shredder's mom. It's been a while. Then we have Planet of the Turtles, not to be confused with the similarly named Planet of the Turtleoids, which is later, but we already covered that one. And then Plan 6 from Outer Space is the second episode. And then we have Turtles of the Jungle, and then Turtle Maniac is the second story. And then we have Rebel Without a Fin, and Splinter Vanishes is the second turtle tale. There we go. Say that. Then we have, I believe these are in the proper order. They are. Yes, they are. We have the Bodaciously Big Adventures line, even though it's funny because this one says adventure number 3, but technically it's the first one in the catalog number. So there you go. But we have the Big Ripoff, and the Big Break-In is the second episode. I think these all have big in the title. The first episodes all have big in the title, and then the Big Ripoff has big in the second title as well. So there you go. Then we have the Big Blowout, which technically, yeah, it says adventure number 1, but it's the second one catalog number wise. And then the second story here is Peking Turtles. Then we have the Big Zip Attack, and the second story is Farewell Lotus Blossom, and they actually did a little work on the back here to put some more pictures. And then we have the last one is the Big Cuff Link Caper, and the Gribbix, I believe that's how you say it, is the second story there. It's a little bit of a weird spelling on that. So there's that one. And then we have, I want to make sure I do these correct here. Here's the so they did it twice, they did it again. Here's the second wave of the Bodaciously Big Adventures line. So they did 4 more. So there's that. And again, These are all, like I said. Actually, no, this one is correct with the numbering because it's 6 or 5, 6, 7, and 8, and they sequentially follow the catalog number. So there's that. I actually got this one sealed because there's something in the inside here. It's probably just a postcard. But we have Convicts from Dimension X, so this is technically volume 5. And then the second story is Night of the Dark Turtles. So I think we're getting into some of the later stuff here. No, it's actually an ad for other Family Home Entertainment VHS. So we got Babar. Remember Babar? We got the original Clifford the Big Red Dog before they did the series. We got some of the classic Rankin Bass Christmas there. And then on the back, well, technically this is the front, sorry. And then on the back is all of the Ninja Turtles releases. And as I mentioned before, there's some of the box sets that came out. And the first film and some of the other ones. So there you go. The perks of getting new VHS at times. I think this was the only one that I got sealed out of the original Family Home Entertainment. Actually, out of all of them. So there you go. I'm looking at the other. Actually, no. There's one more, which we'll cover. Sorry. I lied. You guys know me. I lie about everything. Then we have Volume 6, The Star Child, which also has Combat Land as the second story. I have to sneeze again. I can feel it. I'm sorry. And then we have Volume 7, The Legend of Koji, which I think we might be getting into Season 7 here. So I think these are some of the later ones. And then White Belt Black Heart is the second story. My bad. I felt it, and then it disappeared. It's such a tease, like all the women that I date. So there's that. I'm kidding. And then we have Volume 8, which is Shredder Triumphant. And it features Atlantis Awakes, sorry, can't read apparently, as the second story. And this is actually the Canadian release, but the content on tape and everything is exactly the same, so you're not getting anything different. And then the last of the original Family Home Entertainment releases here. This is the 10th. It doesn't really have a name for the line, but these all do have 10th anniversary kind of banners on it, so I just call it the 10th anniversary line. And this is the only one when they started going to kind of having a name for the line. This is the only one that had 3 VHS tapes. The rest had 4. So there you go. So this is Volume 1, Get Shredder, which again, I think we're getting into, I think these might be some of the Dark Sky episodes, if I'm not mistaken, or we're getting pretty late in the run here. But this also has Wrath of the Rat King, and for whatever reason, these are the hardest, even now, I think these are the hardest ones to get a hold of. It took me a while to get these 3, so I don't know if they did a lower print run, or they sold out very quickly and they were hard to get, or they didn't, again, they didn't make a lot. I don't know, but I think these are still pretty difficult to come by, because I do have on eBay Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles VHS as a save search in case there's an oddity that pops up, or it's has commercials or whatever. But I never see these on there. If I do, it's very rare, and they are pretty expensive. So I think, again, these are the last of the originals that the Family Home Entertainment put out. But I think, again, these were pretty difficult to get a hold of even back then. And then we have Volume 2, which is Cyber Turtles and State of Shock. This one still has the original shrink wrap, but it is a former rental, so I guess they kept it on there to rent it out, which is cool. And then if you look here, they had already switched over to Live Entertainment, because the Live Entertainment logo is on the tape there. So Family Home Entertainment, I think, was its own thing, and then it fell under I think IEV. I'm sorry, it was part of IEV, and then it went to Live when they got bought out, and then it went to Lionsgate. So I think Lionsgate still has the rights to Ninja Turtles, the original cartoon, on DVD. So there's that. And then we have the last volume, Volume 3, and again, the last of the original classic Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle releases here from Family Home Entertainment. This is Cry Havoc, and then Havoc in the Streets is the second story. So, yeah, these might be season 7, somewhere around there. So yeah, that's all of them. So I have all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39. So it's odd number, but I have all 39 of the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon releases from Family Home Entertainment. But we are not done yet, because I do have a couple more kind of oddball releases here. So when they put out, I think, the first 4 volumes, they also released this. Yes, this is The Epic Begins, which is actually the original 5-part miniseries edited together like a movie. So in addition to the 5 episodes being released by themselves, well, not by themselves, but you know what I mean, the original episodic TV versions being released on VHS, they also released a movie edit, which is cool. Some scenes are cut out and shortened and such, which was what they would typically do, but to get you to buy something else, that's what they did with this. And this also came out on Laserdisc, which again I do have as well. And then I think it's High C. Yeah, High C Fruit Drinks. They released Funny. They Shrunk Michelangelo as an exclusive. So I think you had to mail in points or whatever back in the day, and if you mailed in enough, you got this as a freebie. So there you go. This one I think still was a little bit harder to come by, because again it was released as an exclusive to High C. But I think when I got it, it was pretty cheap. It was, I don't think I paid more than maybe $20 to get this. But this only has 1 episode on here, obviously, but still cool. And then, as I mentioned, Family Home Entertainment was a part of IEV. IEV became Live, and then it became Artisan, and then it was bought out by Lionsgate. So when they released this on DVD, they also released this on VHS. They did Volume 1 on DVD and VHS, which again, this is the original 5-part miniseries. Episode 3, excuse me, is A Thing About Rats. So there you go. So Turtle Tracks, Enter the Shredder, A Thing About Rats, Hot Rodding Teenagers from Dimension X, and Shredded and Splintered is the original 5-episode miniseries. So it was also again released on VHS in addition to DVD. So like I said earlier, the original 5-part miniseries was released not once, not twice, but 3 times on VHS. You could get the original 4-volume set, you can get the movie edit, or you can get this. So pick your poison. So there's that. So yeah, that is all of the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on VHS cartoons and movies. I am going to do a little edit, and I'm going to put these away very quickly, and then we will come back, and then we will do the second row, which the rest of that, did half of it. The rest of it is all of the 2003 cartoon. So we'll again, we will reconvene shortly here. We'll do that. We'll finish that up, and that might take us to the end of the segment here. And then we'll come back and we'll finish up the third shelf and then move on over here. So we'll see you in a jiff, or something to that effect. Say something different this time. There you go. All right, so we're back. Just did a little cycling around. Moved the original Ninja Turtles and swapped out for the 2003 cartoon. So I also have all. What do we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. The 18 2003 cartoon VHS here, which they put out the first 17 volumes in conjunction with the DVD releases, they also put them out on VHS, and then they did Michelangelo's Christmas Rescue, which technically is the first episode of season 3, so there's that. And they did the same thing. I'm not going to hold them up because it's too many, but they did the mural, and the artwork is the same and everything, so I got these as well because I figured, why the fuck not? So the 2003 cartoon, once again, is my favorite incarnation of the Ninja Turtles, and it's probably my favorite cartoon of all time, to be honest. So, I know I didn't say Batman or X-Men or whatever the case may be, but that's why it's my favorite and not yours. So there's that. So let's go ahead and get into it. So we have Volume 1, Attack of the Mousers, which again, the artwork is the same as the DVD releases, again, including the matching spine for the mural, which is very cool. And I believe these all have the same episodes and stuff on here. They didn't switch it up. Then we got Volume 2, Meet Casey Jones, which I think all of these I got. This one's busted. Man, it should play fine. I got at thrift stores and maybe a couple online. But yeah, some of these are still sealed, so I think I got those online. I haven't even opened. I don't think I've watched any of these. Maybe I'll give them a watch sometime here. Maybe I'll do the 87 cartoon. I'll run through those, and then I'll run through these. Maybe I'll do that just for fun. We'll see. Then we got Volume 3. Sorry, felt like I had to burp. The Way of Invisibility. So there you go. Then we've got Volume 4. The Shredder Strikes, with Logsoon or whatever Logsden, whatever your name is. You ain't getting this back. So I just love when people write on their fucking VHS and DVDs and Blu-rays and CDs and records, and then they get rid of them. So this one, Volume 5, Notes from the Underground. This one's still sealed. So I probably got this off of eBay or something and just haven't busted the seal on that. Then we got Volume 6, Shredder Strikes Back. And I am running through these a little quickly because, again, you've already seen these if you watch my DVD and Blu-ray collection, because it's the same thing. So, like I said, when they put them out on DVD, they also put them out on VHS. So it's not really much different here. Then we have Volume 7, Return to New York, which might be my favorite episodes of the show. That might be my favorite story arc, just saying. Then we've got Volume 8, The Search for Splinter, which I think, that's the end of Season 1, so they put out the entire first season on VHS as well. Then we get into Season 2. So we have Volume 9, Turtles in Space, which is another great story arc. Then we have Volume 10, Secret Origins, which finishes up Turtles in Space. And then we go into that storyline, which I don't know why they couldn't put all of Turtles in Space on one DVD or VHS. It's 5 episodes. It's only an hour and 40 minutes of video. Come on now. Lazy, can't you say lazy? Then we have Volume 11, The Ultimate Ninja. And it's the same thing where I think the first season was in the proper order, and then Season 2, they started releasing them in random order because they're dumb. So there's that. Then we got Volume 12, Croc Attack. And Volume 13, The Big Brawl, which has all 4... Oops, sorry, put that up for a little bit longer than a millisecond. Which has all 4 of those episodes on here. Then we have Volume 14, which is City at War and Rogue in the House. City at War... Either that or Return to New York is my favorite. It's tough. So then again, like they did with the DVDs, then they started going, changing the numbering system from 1 to whatever to Season 3, Volume 1. This is Alien Invasion, which again, this one's still sealed. Actually, all the Season 3 ones I think I got off of eBay because I think they were a little harder to get on VHS, and they're all still sealed. And then we have Season 3, Volume 2, Worlds Collide. So there's that. So this would be Volume 15, and then Volume 16. And then the last one is Volume 17, which is Season 3, Volume 3. And this is all the ones that they put out on VHS. They stopped putting them out on VHS, and they kept doing them on DVD. And I believe this is from an FYE. I think that's an old FYE sticker. And this is the only one that does not have the spine mural because they finished up by then. But then, like I said, also, they did release Michelangelo's Christmas Rescue. I did get this at a Goodwill because it's got the sticker. Which this is actually the first episode of Season 3. So there you go. They did its own release. And then there's 3 episodes from Season 1 as bonus, which they also did on the DVD release. So there you go. So that is all the Ninja Turtles VHS tapes that you have not seen yet. Again, we previously covered the Out of This World series because I have the box set for that. The Coming Out of Their Shells and Next Mutation because they were clam shells, which are out of the frame here. But that's all of them. That is all of the ones that were put out again here in America. So now you guys have seen them all, which is cool. So what I will do is I will cut this part a little bit short. We'll just keep it kind of just the Ninja Turtles segment for now. And when we come back in part 10, the bottom shelf, and then there's one tape on the second shelf, is all regular movies and some TV shows and stuff like that. So I will pull everything off of there, and we'll get that stacked up nice and pretty for you. We'll finish that up in the beginning of the next part, and then we will move into the stuff here. So we will do some movies and such, and then we'll jump over and we'll start with Power Rangers, and we will go from there. So we'll catch you guys on the next segment. As always, thank you for watching. Most importantly, take care of yourselves, and we'll talk to you soon. And we're about at an hour, so it's not that big of it. It's not like it was only 20 minutes or what have you. But we'll catch you guys next time. Later.